How are you?
Good morning. Thank you. Thank you for all that you do. The Declaration of Independence of the United States talks about holding these truths to be self-evident, talking about life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Unfortunately, in Poinciana, because of the Homeowners Association laws in the state of Florida, we've got all too many people that are finding that that's not true. We have 50,000 people that live in the Poinciana Homeowners Association. When they bought their houses from the developer, they believed that they would have a right to say what goes on in their homeowners association. In reality, those rights are being denied in Poinciana by the fact that the developer has been able for the last 44 years to control the Poinciana Homeowners Association. In fact, the developer, if you talk to many of the Poinciana homeowners, they'll tell you that they feel like they're serfs in a plantation that's being run by the developer Avatar. Our forefathers threw a whole boatload of tea into the Boston Harbor because they protested taxation without representation. Although Poinciana is a privately run HOA, it is in essence a tax. The state allows the Poinciana HOA to take money from each of the homeowners and forces the homeowners to pay that money. If they're late paying that money, if they don't pay the money, the state allows them to foreclose on their homes. And in fact, that happens to thousands of Poinciana homeowners when they face foreclosure process initiated by the lawyer who works for the HOA, who was hired to be the debt collection agency for the HOA. All of this is allowed, and all of it is legal because of the fact that we don't have teeth in our HOA laws in the state of Florida. Newspaper articles that have been written recently about Poinciana tell the entire story. Poinciana HOA elections are compared to elections in banana republics. At great personal expense, the Poinciana homeowners took issue with the way elections had been run and filed a complaint with the DPPR. DPPR is allowed by the Florida legislature or by the Florida law to enforce with mandatory binding arbitration election disputes. DPPR came down on the side of the Poinciana homeowners, didn't make any difference to the Poinciana HOA. They and the developer colluded to go to the 10th District Circuit Court in Florida to come up with a court ruling that is being protested right now at the expense of the Poinciana homeowners under civil litigation. Poinciana homeowners have been to this delegation before. We asked you for home rule by allowing us to vote on a municipality, and you denied that. We asked for HOA reform, and that hasn't happened. We asked for a local bill to take care of this. That hasn't happened. The situation stinks, and quite frankly, only the Florida legislature, you guys, can fix that problem. The United States is a nation based on the foundation of the rule of law. Through hard work and much expenditure of private money on the part of the Poinciana homeowners, they will prevail and they will win these lawsuits. We've spent over $80,000 so far in lawsuits taking on the Poinciana HOA. What I'm here for today is I'm asking for the support from the Osceola Legislative Delegation, not just for the Poinciana homeowners, but for every other homeowner in the state of Florida who lives in an HOA. Please pass meaningful HOA reform legislation in the upcoming legislative session to protect the homeowners against developers so that no other community in the state of Florida has to go through what the people of Poinciana had to go through for the last 44 years with our homeowners association. I thank you. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
Representative LaRosa.
Thank you, Chairman. Keith, first, I appreciate your dedication to the community because this is something from day one and probably in previous to me being elected, you have been in the forefront of. I've decided in the way I've analyzed this, I have passed HOA legislation before. I've proposed reform of HOAs, and I've come in with strategic bills that specifically addressed issues, in which I found that is the most effective and it has gotten me the furthest to help the issue specifically in Poinciana. One of the issues that I find most disturbing is the ability for your HOA fees that are delinquent to be sold and then quickly foreclosed upon. I filed a bill 2 years ago and worked it through the process. that ultimately would say that you could not be foreclosed on unless specific actions were taken, meaning giving notice to the person that was due, giving them a repayment plan, so that giving them the opportunity to catch up, and making it as public as possible. Are those provisions still helpful to what you see happening in Poinciana today? Because the times have changed a little bit. We're now talking 2 years later.
Well, and many of those provisions are, in fact, incorporated in the federal debt collection legislation. The problem that we get into, and it's really the problem, the gist of the whole problem in Poinciana, is that the only enforcement capability that Florida offers for HOA laws is civil litigation. Civil litigation requires the private homeowners to pay for lawyers to take on the HOA. You talk about a David and Goliath situation. The Poinciana HOA, with 26,000 properties and 50,000 people, has an unlimited supply of money that they can spend on legal resources. As I said, we have spent over $80,000 with our own lawyers as far as litigation against these guys, and we're not even at the end of the tunnel right now. We've got litigation that's been in process for over 2 years, because every time we turn around, their lawyers are filing more issues that require us to pay our lawyers in order to counteract.